Alright guys, Big Talk here. So this tutorial we want design this nice slider where it is for the screen here. So when I click on this navigation buttons, you see the way the slider they move. You can see the experience now. So it's not just the normal like the plain sliders where you see for some of all these libraries, they are demo sites, right? So when you click, I use GSAP and I take run this whole nice animation. So this particular slider and a swiper.js slider. So I go use swiper.js and GSAP together now to create this nice experience, and I go show now how I take achieve this particular effect. So when you click again, you see as the details of the particular image now that they come in, and you see how the large text and the image now they fly in as well. So more jump to here quickly. So what I do so far now, I'd already create screenshots just to view the design as with the style and with SCSS. Then I'd already get this boilerplate. So currently I use to set the CSS from Eric Mayer website. Then I get my main.css now when I link from this main.scss now. After I compile, then I use Poppins from Google Fonts now as our base font. Then I already has the swiper.js files from their CDN. Then also I see they add GSAP script, and I add iron icons now to grab the icon or use for our navigation button. So for the left hand side now, if I open this place quickly, see my files and main.js the empty. And for the assets, then our images. So I grab all these images from pexels.com. I'll link the I'll drop the link to the images and every other thing I use for this tutorial now for the description of this video. So more jump to the tutorial. So the first thing we need to do now, I'll come down, I'll create a section with a class of carousel. Then inside the section I will get a wrapper and a row. So for the row, I'll create the swiper class. Then I go add a second class colon 1. The reason why this one is because although if we add everything inside one particular slide, but I want to just create two slides just to show some more stuffs for inside swiper.js, right? So this major one for the top now, this one could be one slide, this big slide that could be one, while these small details for here now could be another slide. But we'll find we link that to so that when we click on the buttons, it could interact with both of them simultaneously. So inside swiper 1, what we'll do, I'll come down and I'll type content. So I create a div class. I create a div with class of content. Then inside now we'll create a span. So the span will be, we'll type we'll give my class large text and another class before. So just type recreation. Then inside this content we'll create another class now. So just create this figure, then image wrap. We'll type our image here, asset /01 I think .jpg. Then we'll come down, we'll create, or might just duplicate ourselves. We'll add another span here, because the idea behind this whole thing be say to get that effect where you see here now. So this effect would create two large text. So one could they stack together like cards, right? So one could they for the back of the image, while the other one could be the top of the image. So the one at the back of the image, that one could be solid color, while the one at the top of the image now could be outline, you get. But when the two they together, it could be like say some sides they transparent, while some side they solid, you get. Now just the the check with that. So moving on, the next thing what we need to do now, we need to create, might just mark up all these other items where the info for this particular slider, and the navigation buttons. So what I'm going to do, just after the swiper one here, I'll come down, then I'll come down, then I'll type carousel footer. So I'll create a class carousel footer, then inside I'll just call which class name I go use now. I'll just type at detail. So inside add detail class now, we'll get a div now for counter. If you just expand dot counter indicator, I'll just type 1/4 here. Right. So done for this one for the top here. Then for this elements for the button here, now what we go do? I'll come down, then I'll go create a swiper class. So this one could be the second swiper. Then inside the swiper class now, we'll type and we'll create a new class called about. So inside about, we'll get 3 spans. So the first one could be designer, Alexander Martinez, then client and dates. So for the client, I just type tech innovators Inc. And for the dates, it could be April 15, 2023. All right. So more view, it will don't mark up so far. So I'll just click on go live, and all right. You need some CSS love. So before we apply CSS to this whole stuff, what we need to do next, we need to create the carousel nav, which is this element here. I'm going to just mark up so just after at detail, I'll come down and I'll type carousel nav. Then inside the carousel nav now, we'll create a button. So button.btn.previous, and inside we'll go use ion icon. So if we go to ion icon quickly and we come to icons, we need this particular icon. So when you click on this icon, you come down, you click here, it will automatically copy this code for you. So we'll paste that and duplicate this. This one will be next, and chevron back, so forward. So what we'll have it will get so far. See the thing, we'll get the button for the button here. So we'll start to style this whole stuff. So just to see if our styling, our CSS, our SCSS now they hooked. Inside the body, I just create a background color of white. Then font family could be Poppins, sans serif, since we use Poppins here. All right, so let's see, and let's see it in work. If I change the color, yeah, it work. So the color we need a black color, but for now I will just use this type of gray, so that we'll go feel see some of these contents as with the style. So the first we need to do now inside is our styling. Now we need to target carousel. So we'll target carousel and I'll set the padding top to something very high, say 200 pixel. Then we'll target the wrapper. We'll set the max width of 1440 pixel, and we'll set the width. Okay, don't make a mistake here. So our width gonna be 100%. Then we'll set margin to auto. All right, so now we don't get our content centralized. So next thing we need to do, we'll come down, then we'll target the swiper, because we need them to collect the width, and we'll set the swiper to 100%. So after that, now we'll target our content. So for the content, width could be 100%. It's supposed to inherit, but more carry on. Position will be relative. Then we'll set display to flex, align items to center, and justify content to center. So that's way all our items now go decentralized together, because we want to make it decentralized to the center vertically and horizontally. So what we need to target next now, might just make that image small. So target image wrap and overflow hidden. I'll set the width to 800 pixel and the height to 500 pixel. So margin will be auto, position relative. We'll set z index to 9 and text align to center. We need all this for now. I'm not sure. I'll just keep on like this first. Okay, so recreation. Mostly work on this image so that we see everything completely. So what we need to do now, we'll target image inside the image wrap. Then we'll set height to 100%. And why are they make this mistake every single time? Instead of the curly brace, they use the square brackets. Silly mistake. So the height, now we'll set the height to 100%, and our width could be 100%. Then we need to set position to we need position on this image. Man, check. Man, I'm going to do past my shadow. Adapt. I think we get with what we want now. If you just say object fits to cover. Yep. So what we need to do, we'll work on this large text. So I'll target the large text, then text transform, capitalize the font size to a very large, something like 220 pixel, and font weight could be 700. Text align to center, and then we'll set the width to 100%. Okay, So what we need to do now, I'll target before, not to confuse this before with the pseudo class of before. So maybe if you use a better name, but at the time I create this old stuff, now it just into my head be this, so not blame me. So set before to absolute, then top to be 150 pixel, and color to white. Okay. Duplicate, and for the after we'll set this color to be more, use yellow first, and z index to 9. Okay, now it makes sense. So this yellow now they cover the white for the back. So for us to get this whole look and feel, what we need to do here, we'll turn the color of this yellow to transparent, then we'll set WebKit text stroke to 2 pixel white. All right. So currently now we don't get it will define. Maybe I'm not gonna say this need like this. So when you select now, let's say the see but yeah, this a story for another day. So what we need to do now, we don't get this whole stuff. We'll start to style this our about section. So just after the content, we will target the carousel footer. So we'll target the carousel footer, then we'll set our margin top, so 100 pixel, just to push them away from the large slider. So display to flex and justify content space between the margin bottom 100 pixel, just to give us some breathing space underneath. So yeah, so more focus on this side. So inside this carousel footer, we'll target at detail, then we'll set the width to say 50% and color to white, then font size to 14 pixel. We'll target the about, and what else we get so far? Inside our HTML, art detail, counter indicator, span. So what we need to do here, before we target about, we'll just type span here, then display to block, or say inline block. Okay. All right, so inside the about, we'll set margin top to 10 pixel, Then we physically target the same spanner, or more target the span inside the about. So inside this about now, we'll set margin bottom. So we target each spanner that will give a margin button just to space them apart from each other. Then text transform to capitalize. So we'll get something like this, and if you increase the font size a little bit to say maybe 15 pixel, we'll do 17. Makes sense. I'll take this one, space a bit. All right, so now would all style the art detail. Then the next thing we need to target now, we need to style our carousel navigation. So with the carousel now, we'll set display to flex and align items to center, and our gap could be 20 pixel. Ideally, for a very serious project, I'll get a lot of mixins and a lot of functions, so that all this display flex and the rest, I know we just type them up or down here to get. But better say I want just sky body along now, just to make you know waiting and waiting we do here. So we do okay for now. So for inside this button, we'll set the width to 50 pixel, then our height could be 50 pixels as well, and border radius could be 50% to give that that perfect circle. So display flex, because we try to center the icon inside this rounded button. So set display flex, then justify contents to center and align items to center as well. So after I do this, I will set background to none, because we don't need any color there. Then we'll set our border to 2 pixel solid. I'll use red for now. We'll give them a better color later. So, we'll not even need that red safe. We just need whites. Then we need to make the white faded. So 0.1 will look good for now. Yeah. So by the time we over on that button, everything will be solid. So cursor will be pointer. Then I'll just set transition, so that by the time we over, I'll give us this nice easy feel to the button. So ease in, out. Okay, so next thing, we'll target the iron icon. Then inside we'll set our color to white and our font size to 16 pixel. Yeah, if you give iron icon font size, so if you set onto like 26 pixel or anything, so if you increase it did the documentation, go with that. So now what will need to happen when we over on the button? What will need to happen? We need to set our border to 2 pixel. So we need 2 pixel solid, or not just the border color safe now. Okay. So if you just target border color to white, yeah, you see how it does take shape. So right now, say we even set our color for the whole background to be solid black, and yeah, it don't make sense. So we'd all like play style this whole stuff. So what we need to do now, we need to start to the work with our JavaScript. So the first thing I need to do here now, I will need to come to this button. Then inside the button, we're going to set the swiper class needed for the button to interact with the carousel or the swiper or the slider or whatever. So I'll type swiper button previous, and it did that documentation, so check them out. I'll drop the link to the to the library. Then we'll type the same for next button, right? So if we check them out now, you see I say it'll change the location of our original button. So what did happen? We say swiper now get their default styling, and that default styling most times not makes sense. That just to show us, okay, if you do this, right? So we need our own unique way. So what we need to do now, we're going to need to inspect the button for us to see what's up. So what we'll do, inside my inspect elements, I'll click on one of these buttons here. So we'll click on one of these buttons. Then inside this button, if you scroll, mouse this one higher a bit, if you scroll down to swiper button next, you see all these styles now they come from their style sheet. So if I disable this, come down, I think position now the cause thing. So we remove the position. So I say that it'll come back now. Then if we click inside this button now, see this pseudo elements then also, or this after. You see I say the after gets this next, so we'll not need the next. Same thing as this one, we'll not need them, right? So we need to disable all these things for our own style. So that means our own style needs to override their style. So what we'll do, I'll go back to my style sheet here. Then just after carousel nav, I'll come down, I'll target swiper button previous and swiper button next. So when I target this to now set position back to on set, then after and before, we'll set the content to on set. So this one suppose solve our problem. I refresh, yep, and it solve our problem. So for the carousel to work, we need to initialize them now for JavaScript. So more jump to the JavaScript part. So now inside our main.js now, what we need to do first there, swiper gets some, in fact, I won't come there like yourself. Swiper gets some nice way of doing their own things. So if we come to documentation, getting started, you see where they say add swiper HTML layout here. It's gonna say we already create this our class here now, which is the swiper, right? But we'll get this content. So this is our content now. There needs to be within this swiper slide for this library now to work, right? So in place of this slides one now, we'll go put this our content here, right? So what we need to do here, most will get after swiper, you get two levels here. You get the swiper wrapper and the swiper slide. So just after this content now, we'll type swiper wrapper and swiper slide. Then I'll cut this content, I'll paste them inside here. Right. Okay, let me just say not break anything and not break anything. So I'm gonna just duplicate like 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we change 1 to 2, and 3, and 4. So let's see, refresh, never break anything, but we don't partially initialize the carousel, so we need to use JavaScript now to finish the job. So before I enter JavaScript, what I go do, I'll just quickly turn this to distraction. Distraction gets C now. Yeah, distraction. All right. Then enjoyment and wilderness. Okay. So inside our main.js now, first thing we need to do, we need to initialize the swiper library. So I'll come here, I'll create a function, and this function I'll call initialize swiper selector, the type selector and options. If you read that documentation, you get a different way of doing this thing, but documentation sometimes it gets a problem for it. When I try to do on the way they do them, they give me some kind of error, so I just need to do on my own way, and my own way work. Actually, I see browse Stack Overflow shabbat it work. So swiper goes to new swiper selector, then loop true, so that's we the slide endlessly, and I'm going to use spread operator here to create the options, so that by the time we initialize the first or the initialize different swipers like that, now if you enter the options all once now, and all of them go automatically spread out here for us. So navigation, next el dot swiper button next, and we'll duplicate this, and this one will be previous, and we'll change this to previous. All right, so now after we do this, we'll come down still inside this function, and we'll say swiper dot init to initialize, and we return this swiper. All right, so now we'll create the first swiper for the bigger carousel. So initialize swiper 1. So I'll come down, I'll declare the swiper 1, and it will be initialize swiper, so we'll go pass in dot swiper dot one. So this thing will be passed now, so then are the selector, and this selector now will they grab and from the very first swiper, right? So after we do this, we'll go say slides per view, and we'll set them to auto. So automatically now this option here, it go enter this place here, right? So let's see what they happen first. You see how it does the work. So if I click the slide, they work as it should. So where GSAP will come in now, when we change any of this swiper, we need to make sure it's okay. As we click to change, we use our GSAP now take animate some of these elements or the content of this particular swiper. So what we'll do, I'll come down, then I'll target swiper 1, then we'll use an event listener, and this event listener now, from their documentation, if you check them, because they get a whole lot of interesting stuff, they get this slide change for their documentation. You see, so you get a whole lot of stuff going there. You get rich, and all these things that go make you do so many crazy things with this particular library now for your different carousel needs. So they use the slide change and say events will be fired when current active slide is changed, right? So by the time the slides change, we won't fire that event that we go activate GSAP now to style or to animate that particular element. So what I'll do now, I'll come down and I'll type slide change, and we'll create a function, animates elements. Inside now we'll collect two arguments, elements, and animation options. We're going to explain everything as we go. So what we want to do now, we will target all the elements, then we go say for each element, for each element we want GSAP to use this from, take run some animations. Okay, so we'll come back to this, but for now we'll carry on. So what we'll do now, I'll create a variable now. I'll target the active index of our swiper 1. So we'll get the active index, and we'll target the active slide. So active slide is equals to document.query selector, and we'll use this grave accent key. You know the tight key there for your keyboard, that key where they do with that small T where they talk like tick. So swiper .1 swiper slides, the ends child, and active index +1. I think this should be right. Yeah. So the next thing we'll target the large texts before. I'll say active slide dot query selector all. So we use a single quote now, large texts dot before. So it's what they try to would they try select all the images, sorry, all the large text. So we try to select this text and this distraction text and this enjoyment text and this wilderness text, right? So when we select all of them now, we want to make sure, see, as we change the slide now, you go check for which one they active, right? And that one will, like, say they active now. Now that one I could just add the animation to. So we'll target large text before. We need to target large text after and the images. Image wrap image, then large text dots after. Okay, so I'll come down, I'll create this common animation options, then inside our X could be equals to 100, then opacity could be 0. Then the animation will run for 0.85 seconds. Then our ease could be power 2 in out. All right, so now what we need to do, we'll call this animate elements now. Then we'll first animate the large text before, and we will add all these options for our animation. You get, so GSAP from now, it targets the element now, which is this large text before. Then it add this animation options now, which is all these options. So since the large text and the large text before and the large text after, now since both of them go use exactly the same animations, now it's not gonna make sense for us to create different GSAP stuffs here just to make our codes day longer. So now the essence of using this our function now to make the code look a little bit cleaner. So I'll just duplicate this, then I'll target large text after. So we'll see whether this suits in the work, and it never work. So we'll see. If we inspect console, everything looks okay, but for some reason it never work. So we'll see where our issue they arise from. So animate elements. Oh, sorry. And when you click, that's supposed to fire. So click and yet enough fire. Oh, slight change. You see, I'm just this small stuff. So these are the issue we get here. So this thing's supposed to work now. Yeah, it work. All right. So we get this animation working, so we need to run the same animation now for the image. So for the image now, we need to do this. We'll target the images, then we'll say for each image GSAP from will scale from 1.2 down to the original size of the image. So the duration, what's going to happen will be C 0.85, and the ease could be the same thing. So I'll just copy them here. Okay, so if we check out this stuff, you see, if you play around, if you play with this value self to get a much more smoother animation overall, just to change how this thing works. But for now, I like this. So I'm just target this remaining part Namoko style, or rather animate that area. So first thing first, now I want to show you by when I click on this particular thing, now we're going to see this indication now going to change here. So quickly to do that, just after this swipe on change event, we'll create a new function and we'll call them updates custom pagination. So I will add this argument here. Then inside the function, we'll create a variable, we'll call them the current index, and this one will be equals to swiper dot real index plus 1. Then we'll create another variable for the total slides, swiper dot slides dot length. Right, so what we need to do now, we need to target that particular element now. Custom pagination elements and document dot query selector. Count indicator. All right, so now our custom pagination elements now, then the text content, we want use the value of this tuner to replace this our default text where inside this place here, which is this 1/4. So we target this counter indicator now, which is this whole part of the code. Then we'll say dollar current index and total slides. So the current index now, and the total slides automatically now they show up here for us. So currently never they show up now because we never initialize the particular carousel. So to initialize that particular carousel, now what we go do, we go call this our update pagination method just after this place, just to declare them here. Then we'll target this swiper 1, right? And we need to place this inside the onChange function. Okay, I never see what we want. Must see. We get some error here. Cannot set properties of null text content. So where our issue they come from now? Cannot set property of null text content. Must see. More console.log this stuff. Oh, you know what? Let's see. Okay, null. So in order to see this particular stuff, more trace and properly again. So carousel footer adds it a counter indicator. See me? Let the smart pass my shadow. So it's supposed to work now as it should, and yep, it works as it should. So we refresh, click, and our counter the work. All right, that's for that. So the next thing we need to do is when we change this slide, this details here, they need to fly in. So we need to add our GSAP animations to this particular area as well. So after this custom pagination, I also go to now initialize the second slide. So I'll just copy this code and I'll paste them here. Swiper 2 and 2. Then the effects we need here, we need a feed effect. So I'll type feed, then feed effects cross feed true. So these same items you see here, all this one they come from the swiper library. So if you search feed, this effects, and they will show you the whole stuff stuff. So you click on elements here, you go open the link to this particular carousel and all the codes behind that one. So if you just come and say, okay, now that effect I want, then you just come down, and most likely the JS could be somewhere around. Which one I click? No, not click the elements, because this element now another will be like say the initialize this swiper.js. I think that they are recent way, but if you click on the core, when you click on the core now, you can see the JS options where you need, or the slider options rather. All right, so you see effect feed, right? Okay, so none for that. Then the next thing we need to do is On slide change for this swiper too. So swiper 2, slide change. And we'll create another function. Let's see, this is similar to this function. So I just copy, in fact, we've often used the same one, but we'll just copy everything here. Then we'll go change whatever it will need as we progress. So I just copy everything from that first on change event from swiper 1. I'll paste them here. Then function again, animate, might just say timeline elements. So timeline, and for each element, timeline that's from elements, animate options, and we just set I think lesser than and equals to 0.2. So lesser than or equals I think my font legate should be on for VS Code. Let me get the symbol, but you get the check now. Lesser than or equals to, now the try right here. I guess just to make you understand which are the right here. I might just do them here. Lesser than or equals to this here. All right. So now, what I could do now, I'll change this swiper 1 to 2. Then active slide, I'll just put 2 here. Although it not really mean, but just to make things the more pronounced. I will change swiper.2, and this will be the target now. Will be about.designer and about.client and about.dates. So designer, client, and dates. Then common animation options could be, since it's not the fly from left to right, now from up to down in the fly, now we'll go show to Y. Then the distance will be 10, opacity will remain 0, duration will remain the same, the ease will remain the same. And now we'll declare a timeline for GSAP. The beauty about GSAP, a whole lot of ways there if you take do different things. So we don't need these images to come out. So timeline, then with the target designer here, clients and dates. All right, I think it's what we need now. We'll test them first. Fresh. Okay, it never work. So we'll see what it happen. Get one error, fit to execute computer style on window parameter 1 for main GS6719. So where's 6719? So this our swiper with the initialize. So now yeah, the issue there. So what could be the problem? More debug. Swiper 2. Swiper 1. Elements. I'll come back first, let's see. Oh, okay. So the reason why we get this error because for our swiper 2, we never add the structure where swiper.js needs to work. So you see, we forget. So we need to do the same thing we do for the swiper 1. Add the swiper wrapper, then the swiper slide. Okay, so to do that, I think we need to put the about inside the whole structure. So come here, I'll type swiper wrapper, then swiper slide, and inside we'll put about. Okay, so hopefully our error goes away, and okay, error don't go, but we still get issue. So let's see where our issue could come from now. This animate never work. So why it never work? And our mistake again. We need to duplicate these. So just duplicate like 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, to match the 4 major slider for the top. So we'll just change the dates just to show the difference. So April 15, 16, 17, and 18. So if I next, you see here, and that's everything we need to get this nice cool animation effects using GSAP swiper.js, then HTML and SCSS for our styling. So yeah, so I could drop the link of all the stuffs I used for this particular tutorial now for the description of this video, so you get access to all of them. And if you need the code as well, most likely if you push on to GitHub, then drop the link as well. So anyhow, I'll see you a little bit on top of now. Like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you see this on Twitter, follow me because I will drop more interesting tutorials like this. All right, bye.